Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rian, and today I want to talk about copy portfolios on the eToro platform. Now, the other day I was thinking to myself, everyone is waiting for the Bitcoin ETF to come out, and I think it makes so much sense that hedge funds or even grandma and grandpa would be able to more easily buy into Bitcoin, because cryptocurrencies can be quite complicated if you are unfamiliar with them or if you haven't had a lot of exposure. Like I remember back in 2013, just googling, how to, you know, buy Bitcoin and send them around, etc. And it was very hard to get to the bottom of it because there's private keys and public keys and strings to copy and paste and I was always so scared that I can just make one single mistake, one character, or maybe someone intervenes, or intercepts my string, via, when it's sent over the internet and changes one character or changes the characters or something. So I was like just so afraid to send around Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency for that matter. But over the years, I've just learned to not for that not to be an issue, because I've gained trust in how they work, and also in my ability not to make mistakes or not unnecessary mistakes. But I can imagine for somebody new or for like older people or hedge funds, etc. The platforms that they use doesn't necessarily have the ability to just buy crypto as part of their portfolio. So one of the biggest or the best options for them would be a spot ETF, that would just allow them to buy that ETF where it's physically backed. It's backed by physical Bitcoin. Well, not that Bitcoin is physical, but you get what I mean. So, and that will just allow so much more money to flow into the market. And I think once that happens, if that ever happens, we could see a substantial increase in the price of Bitcoin. But just with that as a background, I always so not just that's just what triggered the thought. So and then I want to introduce you to something, if you don't know, that's kind of like an active ETF in my eyes. So if you don't know what the differences are, you get two types of ETFs. Now an ETF is like a basket or a bundle of different stocks, and you get two types. You get actively managed and passively or inactively managed. Now the actively managed ETFs are like they have a fund manager. Take for instance ARK Invest. They have Kathy Wood, or Kathy Wood is one of the lead fund managers, or if not the lead. I know there's a whole team. I don't know to what extent they decide, but Kathy Wood is the fund manager of ARK Invest ETFs, or most of them anyways. So she decides what goes in and out, and they can make changes quite a lot. They can go and they can take out certain stocks and put them in, and because you get that kind of active involvement, they cost more. So you have to look at the expense ratio. So the expense ratio tends to be a lot higher on actively managed ETFs. Now you can go to ETF.com if you want to look at the different expense ratios on ETFs, and it's definitely something that you have to keep in mind in the future, because these fees do tend to rack up over time, especially if you're buying ETFs to hold them over the long term. Very, very important to look at the expense ratio. Now that's what an active ETF is. Now you get an inactive ETF. And now an inactive ETF is an ETF that doesn't change often. For instance, let's say an ETF like the VOO from Vanguard, who tracks the performance of the S&P 500. Now that ETF's composition would only change if the companies in the S&P 500 changes. So it's not something that changes often. So you get lots of these ETFs that are kind of like that's the way they are, and I don't know how often they change, but it's not a lot. It's not like there's a manager that manages it. It tracks a certain index or a certain a certain group of companies or whatever the case may be, but it's not like it's being exchanged all the time. Now I want to introduce you to eToro's copy portfolios. Now in my opinion, in a lot of ways, it is like an active ETF. Now this is quite revolutionary, and I'm going to show you. I've made quite a lot of money on, or using these actively managed ETFs or these smart portfolios on eToro. And what's nice about them is the fact that you don't pay. There's no expense ratio. So basically, eToro manages these portfolios for you, and they pick the stocks that goes in there, and they have all of them have different conditions. Some of them, are being rebalanced, yearly, and some of them might be quarterly or whatever the case may be, and so there's no like specific expense ratio. The only thing is it is as if you copy someone like a copy trader with that specific group of stocks in the portfolio. So basically, you just pay the spread fees of all the different stocks that you open up within that copy portfolio, and then you depend on the fund manager or the portfolio manager at eToro to do the due diligence and to do the research and swap and exchange different stocks. Now, this is something that's good for somebody who is not familiar with doing research on individual stocks, looking at PE ratios, just looking at fundamentals of companies, etc. So if let's say you have a strong conviction for a certain industry in the future, then eToro most probably has a copy portfolio for that industry for you. So then your conviction is for that industry, and you are basically asking or depending on them to do the research on the companies that they see fit into or in that copy portfolio, or which is in my eyes the same as an actively managed ETF. Now, it's a very cheap way to get access to an actively managed ETF because, like I said, there's no expense ratio. All right, so let me show you a few of these actively managed ETFs, these smart portfolios. All right, so this is the eToro platform. You can see that I'm on my personal account, the McLovin portfolio. So how do you get to your copy portfolios? You click on Discover on the left tab, and then you scroll down. You'll see the first section is Copy Trader. Scroll down to Smart Portfolios. Now, you can now go and click on View All, and you can see that they are dividing them into different sectors. You get market-related copy portfolios, top trader copy portfolio. So it's even, like ETFs, quote unquote, that tracks the movements of different traders on the platform. You also have partner portfolios where they, group up with people like Warren Buffett, like Berkshire Hathaway, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to look, for the purpose of today, I'm going to look at the market copy portfolio. So I'm going to click on View All. Now, this is where my thought triggered. So I'm going to show you the different kinds of crypto copy portfolios that they have, and then you can see that it's kind of like if you were grandma and grandpa, it would be very easy for you to just open up this copy portfolio, and you don't need to know anything about how to buy crypto on an exchange or or any of those things. You would be buying the underlying asset you would open up trades for all these crypto assets and owning the underlying assets. It's not CFDs. So it's the real underlying asset via these copy portfolios. And you just open this copy portfolio as you would open an ETF on the platform or on any other platform. It's as simple as that. So it gives you that exposure to crypto without understanding crypto at all. All right, but let's look at this. So the first one they have here, you can see, I'm just going to sort them by risk. Okay, so you can see that the crypto ones are obviously the ones with the highest risk. So you can see that the DeFi portfolio, is up 124 for the year, then crypto, and then crypto equals. So I'm just going to look at these two. So this one is crypto by market cap. Now, if we click on it, you can see that it shows here, it gives you a nice description of what is in this copy portfolio, and then you can see the assets, that they have here. But we can dive deeper. But this specific crypto portfolio is, you can see it says here, eToro's copy aggregates diversity, blah, blah, blah. And then it says the portfolio allocation is based on crypto assets representation according to their market cap. So at the beginning of the year, they look at, which top 10 cryptos or top 20 or whatever cryptos, performs or is the biggest in terms of market cap. And then they go and they make up this copy portfolio, according to the weight that those cryptos have, market cap wise in terms of all crypto. So it gives you that perfect exposure, that balanced exposure to all the cryptos that are doing well at a certain point in time, and then also the ones that are doing really well, like Bitcoin, for instance, will have a lot, like bigger portion or a much more weight in this ETF or this copy portfolio than some of the other ones would have. So if we look at this, now we can go to portfolio. You can click on, so this is the exposure. Now what I like to do is I like to click on view all. So you can see here that 21% of this fund is allocated to Bitcoin, 7% to Ethereum, then it goes down. Now you can see that a lot of these coins that are in here are probably not the best choices now. I mean, some of these, like, I don't want to like hate on any of these coins, but you can see that it's time, it might be time to rebalance this portfolio. And I think they do this yearly. If you go back to the feed, you can see that, let's see, they say here minimum is 1,000, and then they say allocates or several base representation considered and balanced exposure. No. Okay, so usually it's about a year, every year, if I'm not mistaken. So they rebalance it yearly, and then so it might look different. If you go to coinmarketcap.com, you can now go and see which ones are the ones that are weighted the most now. I think eToro would intervene if some of these cryptos are really falling out, or I'm not sure what their rules are, but they are maintaining that, and they're doing a pretty good job. I mean, if you look at the returns on this copy portfolio, I mean, even 2019 when we had a bad year, just by bringing up a fund that is based on market cap, look at this. This is outstanding returns. So this copy portfolio, look, there's 19,000 investors in this copy portfolio, and it's also very nice. It shows you how much it draws down. So it at some point it drew down 55% in a year. So half of your money would have been gone. Not gone. If you close the copy portfolio, it would be gone. But I mean, it would draw down, like half of it would be lost. So you really need like quite strong nerves, if you invest into this. But I mean, this is pretty much as close as you can get to an actively managed crypto ETF. I mean, this is very easy to understand, and it shows the yield. Let's look at another one. I'm just going to go back. So crypto equal. So this was by market cap. Then they have one where it seems like it is divided equally. Now you can look at this. It says here that they are selected based on the platform. The portfolio allocation is equally weighted among the assets. So if we go and look, you can see it also has outstanding returns for this year so far, but it seems like it hasn't done as well. If we look at what is in the portfolio, you can see it's also a lot of some of the older cryptos, I would say, quote unquote. But look at this. So all of them are, they are balanced. You can see an equal amount. It's been divided equally between, these specific cryptos that they chose. See, a lot of them has gained, like ADA has grown substantially from the 6% where it was. So it's like the weight of ADA now is a lot more than it was before. Ethereum, the same story, etc. But yeah, so guys, this is basically, it for copy portfolios. What I want to do is I just want to look at one or two more. I want to show you guys some of mine. So what I invest into is driverless. So this is basically a managed or an actively managed ETF copy portfolio for the whole autonomous and electric vehicle drive. So for me, I'm a big believer into the EV market and to autonomous cars and everything that's coming with Tesla, Lucid, Rivian, etc. So I'm really excited about those things, and for me to be invested into that industry is more important than deciding which companies exactly I should be investing into. If there are people that spend the time on finding these companies, but for me it's more important to have exposure because I am a long-term investor, and I just like to have significant exposure into the different industries that I believe in. The other industry that I believe will make big A big difference in the next 10 years is the renewable energy. That's the green sector. That is your solar energy, any kind of renewable energy, etc. Those will be the ones that are doing well. So those are the two copy portfolios that I have in my own portfolio. So I can show you guys here. I have two here. You can see driverless. So this is the EV and autonomous cars. And if we look at their stock allocation, you can see they are invested in companies like Nvidia, Tesla, General Motors, Apple, Intel, Google, TomTom, BMW. You can see Volkswagen, and then many, many more. So you have, exposure to quite a lot of companies in here. So you can see these are all my trades now. This is basically what I have invested now. With $1,000 investment, this is what I have invested into each of these companies. So you can see it's like not massive positions. It's quite small, but again, it is weighted. So you can see it was weighted more heavily towards Nvidia, and you can see that it has paid off. My average open price was at 178 when I opened this on the 16th of June, when I started, this copy portfolio. And look at this now, or when I, invested into this copy portfolio, and now Nvidia is selling at 324. So you can see it's like an 80% increase. Another copy portfolio that I am investing into is my renewable energy. Now you can see also it's $1,000 investment. And if we look at stocks, you can see I also opened this on the 16th. And you can see that this gives me exposure to companies like Solar Edge, Enphase, First Solar. There's a few big names here. And then what is the beauty to me is that, a lot of these other companies that I don't know, they are all companies that, eToro has done the research, and they don't ask a premium, for managing this small portfolio. And that's the nice part. You only pay the spread fees on those stocks that you open up. So yeah, in overall, I love the smart portfolios, the copy portfolios on eToro. I think it's brilliant. I think it's a magnificent product. And if you want to have exposure to certain sectors or industries, I really recommend that you look at these copy portfolios. So minimum investment amount is usually 1,000. There are a few of them, who requires you to add $5,000, which is quite a lot, but it's not many of them would ask that. It's mostly $1,000 or $2,000 minimum investment. But yeah, I think I haven't been disappointed with eToro's copy portfolio. Some of them are really revolutionary, like the Outsmart Nasdaq. It actually utilizes artificial intelligence, so it learns. So it's basically an algorithm that's built to outperform the Nasdaq month on month and year on year. So, and it actually learns as it goes. So it's really it's a phenomenal product. So I would really recommend to check that out. And then also do your research. Go and look at the graph. Go look at the charts. Even go as far as asking eToro questions on it. So do your research before you invest into anything. And then so if you're new to eToro, if you haven't signed up to eToro before, you can look in the description below. Use my sign up link in the description, and then sign up onto eToro. And start investing. Start securing your financial future. So that's it from me today. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And if this content has helped you, and if you would like to see me make more videos, please give this video a like, and a subscribe would also be appreciated, as it helps the channel quite a lot. Okay, thanks a lot. That's all from me. Cheers. Bye-bye.